Many prominent Democrats have recently received suspicious packages in the mail. According to the New York Times, both Barack Obama, the Clintons, now Eric Holder, John Brennan, that's former CIA chief, and Maxine Waters, also a Democratic politician, have all received suspicious packages from an unknown sender. Those packages turned out to be explosive devices. Oh boy. Now, according to the New York Times, this is on the earlier story about Obama and Clinton. In a statement, the Secret Service said it has intercepted 2 suspicious packages addressed to Secret Service protectees who are identified as Clinton and Obama. And of course, I already gave you the updated list of that because they're finding these things all over. And so, oh boy, that is not only disastrous, but incredibly scary. And thank goodness none of them have actually exploded. Now, for Clinton, the device addressed to her in Westchester County was found on Tuesday by a Secret Service employee who screens her mail. Now, in all these cases, somebody, thank goodness they have good mail screeners, or else they could have opened those, and then, well, you know what would have happened. Now, Secret Service intercepted the package meant for President Obama. The devices were apparently constructed from a length of pipe about 6 inches long, filled with explosive powder. So these are pipe bombs. Okay, not very sophisticated, but they end up doing the job. They were proactively detonated by a bomb squad, according to the officials, all of whom were briefed on the investigation. So, look, this is following a bomb that was sent to George Soros yesterday. Now, according to investigators right now, or officials right now, they say, well, we don't know what the motive is. Well, I think the motive is fairly clear. I mean, at least to me, when I look at this, I think, well, obviously they wanted to target prominent Democrats because that's who they've targeted. But I understand they got to be careful, right? So they're just being cautious and they're putting out what they know without any sort of speculation. Speculation is my job. And I'm going to do a little bit of it. But first, look at who they've targeted. Maxine Waters, George Soros, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Eric Holder. Basically, again, prominent establishment Democrats have all been targeted all within a day of each other. It's not an accident. This is obviously somebody's been very, very busy doing this, and it is kind of sickening to think about hating somebody so much that you would try to do something like this. But anyway, law enforcement agencies, according to the Times, were closely examining possible ties between the packages and the one sent to Mr. Soros, according to one federal law enforcement official who would not be named. The connection, they said, was being strongly considered, and of course, I believe that they've updated that to say that, no, we do think there absolutely is a connection. And look, I think it's fairly obvious, right? There is a connection, and I understand, again, trying to be careful, right? And look, here's where we go, or at least where I go into a little bit of speculation, right? So this is just right after right-wing groups began peddling conspiracy theories, another one about George Soros, right? That was that migrant caravan. Now, look, conspiracy theories against Soros are nothing new from the right. And conspiracy theories from the right about Obama and Hillary Clinton are also not a new thing. So, look, here we go. More unhinged people. And look, I don't know what political ideology. I'm guessing they are from the far right. And I've got some merit to that, even though I don't know who actually did it, what they actually believe. As somebody said earlier, well, it could be somebody from the far left attacking, establishment Democrats. Possible, but in my opinion, not necessarily likely. But sure, I guess we totally need to look into the facts and find out, what they actually like, what their motive is. But first, they got to catch the guy, or person, or lady, whatever, right? But anyway, as for Soros, Soros was, like I said, they sent him that package yesterday, and there is that conspiracy about Soros funding the migrant caravan. Now, the right wing has been playing up that migrant caravan. They've been really beating that fear drum, right? So they got people all whipped up and afraid for the midterms. You got Donald Trump out there talking about, roving bands of, Democratic mobs, which is ridiculous. Yeah, sure. So a couple of people got shouted out of a restaurant. That's not the same. And if you're trying to make the case that sending bombs to people and shouting them out of a restaurant is the same thing, then I don't know. You're not living in the same world as the rest of us. They're not even remotely equal, right? So, nonetheless, here you have dangerous conspiracy theories. And this is what happens, right? So you spread conspiracy theories about people, and you say things that are like completely untrue. Now, there are reasons that I don't like Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama, right? There are reasons that I don't like Soros. I don't even agree with him politically. He's not some far left boogeyman. He's a capitalist. He made all of his money by being a really good capitalist. And he gives to causes that are actually very centrist or establishment Democrat. That, guess what? Fight against progressives. So I'm not a fan of any of these people. I'm not a fan of Eric Holder. I did give him some credit for being tough. Not, a huge fan of Maxine Waters. Not a huge fan of a lot of these establishment Democrats. Definitely not a big fan of Debbie Wasserman Schultz. But seriously, I don't like them based on their policy and what they've actually said and done, not the conspiracy theories made up by people on the far right or some even on the far left. Okay? Look, I believe in facts, and I believe you should make judgments based on the facts. And unfortunately, the far right, they don't have any of those. But anyway, look, I think it's pretty super obviously clear that the person or persons or whoever sending these bombs are completely divorced from reality. That's not a stretch to say. Okay? Obama, Clinton, Soros, these are all people that have been targeted before by the alt-right, by the far right, I should say. And look, the whole idea that, this is, that the people on the left are violent. No, it's absolutely ridiculous. And in fact, I've got facts to back that up. And the reason that I bring that up, by the way, is because that's what a lot of people on the far right are saying. Oh, it's the liberal violence, right? These liberal mobs. And of course, somebody's going to get it in their head to fight back against the liberal violence. What liberal violence? Again, somebody chasing somebody out of a restaurant? Ridiculous, right? But anyway, facts. A new terrorism database analysis shows that almost 2/3 of the terror attacks in the United States last year were carried out by right-wing extremists. That's 2/3. That is a huge, huge majority. Now, those attacks, of course, were tied to racist, anti-Muslim, homophobic, anti-Semitic, fascist, anti-government, or xenophobic motivations. None of which you would find on the left. And that's just last year. According to the Anti-Defamation League, 74% of murders committed by domestic extremists from the right wing are from the right wing. And that is over the past, I think it was 2006 to 2014, right? I may be off on that on those years. I apologize for that. Not only that, but Islamic extremists comprise about 24% of that, and the oh so violent left comprises about 2%. Oh, but please, talk about how violent the left is. Please. We're violent because we interrupt Mitch McConnell's dinner. Again, if you think that's comparable, then you're more than wrong. These bombs were meant to kill people. That was the point. Now, I'm going to speculate that it is the right wing. Well, again, Democratic politicians and CNN also received a suspicious package. And this follows a lot of insane rhetoric that has come out. Even more insane because guess what? We've got a midterm coming up, right? You have Alex Jones, you got Breitbart, you got Drudge, you got all these right-wing outlets spreading dangerous conspiracy theories and violence. You have the Proud Boys' Gavin McInnes, right, urging his followers to choke out people on the left. Tell me again who are the violent ones, right? Come on. I think it's fairly obvious. Even if this doesn't turn out to be a right wing, which, look, there is always that possibility, but I think it's very unlikely that this person is not a member of the far right. So, hey, members of the right wing, if you're against this, well, call it out, right? Because I can guarantee you, when there is a person, and I can point back to it, to people, the guy that shot the Republicans in that baseball field, unilaterally, I should say, not unilaterally, but universally, everybody on the left condemned that person. I would like to see, if this turns out to be a right-winger, everybody on the right to say, that's terrible. Don't do that. We don't condone violence. Now, the White House, by the way, did say that. Sarah Huckabee Sanders said, these terrorizing acts are despicable, and anyone responsible will be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. She also called them cowards. I think she's wrong about that. They're not cowards, they're terrorists. Though I guess you could say basically it's synonymous in a way. But they tried to murder journalists. They tried to murder 2 former presidents of the United States, plus the Secretary of State, plus other Democratic politicians. That's terrorism. That's terrorism. Whoever's sending these bombs is a terrorist. And I know there's a very specific definition of terrorism today, usually involving somebody being brown. But look, call it what it is. Call it what it is. I believe it is terrorism. I believe it is terrorism. Because, look, you're trying to terrorize these, politicians and Democrats, Democratic politicians. That's not terrorism. I don't know what is. And it definitely seems that there is a political motive behind this because they're all politicians or former politicians. Fairly clear to me. But anyway, look, obviously there's going to be more updates later on to this story because it is breaking, it is developing. And so we'll be back probably with more updates as this continues. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.